Hello and welcome to the roundup for our Mother of Us All campaign. This was a long one. It took a long time to get from almost done to done. I would say after like 10 episodes, we had conquered so much. I was like, oh, this is going to be so quick. 40 episodes later, we're finally there. A lot of it is just that we needed a lot to actually hold all the land that we were going to hold. And there were ways that we could have bypassed this. If we had wanted to, one of the obvious answers is that you heavily abuse elective. By that, I'm meaning that instead of us having it the way that we had it, where we had just elective for a duchy, we could elective for a kingdom, we could elective for another empire, we could then elective for even more empires, and if we played the elective game, we wouldn't have had to have waited to expand, which may have made our life easier, because if we didn't have to wait to expand, all of a sudden, a lot of things become a lot easier for us. Also, I think reforming our faith early felt really good for tech, and actually over time, I feel like this would have outperformed not doing that. But the problem is that by doing that, we weakened ourselves, and we had to basically just go, okay, now we're building ourselves up. Right? Now we have to build, now we have to wait. Well, if we had just expanded, we may have been able to achieve our goals a lot earlier, right? But I like the way that we played it out. I think that we took the goal from the achievement and we made something out of it. We made an interesting campaign where we actually have a high development Africa, and we found out why the AI never creates a high development Africa. And that's because of this penalty with desert, which is huge. If I go in here, actually, and have a look at development for this, actually, there is no desert there. Okay, let me just find somewhere. What's it? Control G? I just need to find somewhere that actually has desert. Although Drylands has a negative, but desert. Let's go desert, because it has the bigger one. So if I have a look at its development, yeah, there's minus 50% on development growth. That pretty much kills development over here, which explains why even late game, there's just nothing. Which, you know, kind of makes sense, but does mean that you're not going to get anything too ahistorical from down here, because you're not going to be able to get the innovations to achieve that. Anyway, so our map also ended up crazy. The rest of the map is absolutely nuts. I'm trying to figure out if there's a reason for it. Obviously, this is nonsense. Like, this over here is just nonsense from the mandala mechanics. I think that previously we haven't seen it, because previously when we've been playing the game, like after, what's it called? All Under Heaven? Previously when we've been doing that, we played as China, in which case it didn't happen because we were playing as China. We stopped it happening by existing as a large force here, which basically blocks them in. Then we were playing as Japan, and we did not care about the rest of the world, we just played as Japan. And then we played effectively as a nation down here, at which point we were this. So, yeah, I don't know if we've actually played a proper campaign where we've had an opportunity for this to happen. I'm trying to remember, did I do one over here? I might have done one over here. I don't remember this happening during that, but anyway, essentially, yeah, I think this is just a problem with the game that they need to fix. I suspect the easiest way to fix it is just to stop you being able to make nomads tributaries. That stops the whole thing, right? Because if you just stop nomads being able to be tributaries in the same way, like mandala tributaries, that stops them from being able to go like up here, which means that they are naturally smaller, and that means that someone like China, say, can push them out, or they become strong enough and the only place they can expand is China, at which point they become China, right? So, yeah, I think that would make more sense, but we'll see what Paradox come up with. They might come up with nothing. We'll see. I also assume that if you're playing a campaign up here as nomads, this must be horrible on All Under Heaven. Like, this just must feel awful, especially if this keeps happening every game. Anyway, I guess you just have to expand quick enough and then it doesn't. Right. Anyway, it's time for us to have a look around the map. This is going to annoy me. I need to do this, even though we're not going to do anything. Right. We're going to start with our look around the map. And maybe we'll start with the ledger this time. Let's have a look here. So I don't really care about ongoing wars. Like, anything that is just current game, I'm not really worried about. Is there a way of seeing, like, non-ongoing wars and just see wars in general? No. Okay, in which case we'll leave this. Artifacts, these don't, like, there's nothing interesting to see here because these exist in every game, so it's just, yeah, nothing there. So characters, who is the richest character? It's these guys. Yes, 100% it's going to be these guys. Have you seen how many tributaries they have, paying them tribute constantly? And they don't even have the human problem where you have to go and ask for tributes. The AI's just throwing tributes non-stop, and you're just getting huge amounts of money. They're losing 73 gold a month, but yet they still have 61,000 gold. It's crazy. And they're only at level 5. That means that they could actually end up... actually, I'm looking at the wrong one. I should be looking at this. But even then, they're not at the max level of devotion. His max level of devotion is up here with demigod and godlike. So actually, they could end up even larger, because there's a whole bunch of people who aren't willing to accept their offer of tributary. So yeah, this is nonsense. All right, what about you? Oh, you're a holy order. Interesting. Holy order for this religion. Okay. Ah, for the religion that's in this area. I see. It's also over here as well. Yeah, I think I can see how they might have got some money. And then you've got this random person in China with just huge amounts of cash. Descended from a previous emperor. Or sorry, previous Huangdi, I guess we'll say. Anyway, so he's effectively the person who's inherited all the money from a previous hegemony. That makes sense. So what's ledger? Shift F1, just for when I accidentally close it again. He is he's the realm priest of this nation over here. Yeah, so because they hold so much land, this guy is getting so much income from all of the people, which then, yeah, you get the idea. And then we have this random unlanded person. How did you earn all this money? You must have held a position as something... Oh, you were another... Wait, no. Yeah, you must have held a different position at some point. Yeah, that's my only thought. And then we get some more of these holy orders. Okay. Well, there you go. How about if I go landed only? Oh, these guys don't count as landed. Interesting. Okay. So you end up with this person. Yeah, so it's basically everything's in this empire. Or China. Right? It's in one of these two places. Alright. That's gold. How about total income? That's negative 73. Oh, but it's negative 73 due to expenses, not due to income. Yeah. Hey, we're number 3. Nice. So in terms of pure income, we're number 3. So you've got this one. You've got this one. You've got somebody over there in China who's holding one of these circuits. We've got us. We've got another person holding a different circuit in China. And then you've got the Pope. That seems fair enough. Realm size? We have the largest realm size. Obviously. Yeah. Now you might be like, but these guys are so big. Well, they're not though. Because this land here, you see the land that changed? That's their land. Everything else is a tributary. Like everything else that they hold is tributaries. Which is nuts. Anyway. So we're number 1, they're number 2. Number 3 is the Abbasids. Number 4 is the Byzantines, and then number 5 is Galicia. Okay. Actually, a very unified Iberian Peninsula, which I think is actually a result of us. I like to think about what we changed in the campaign by existing. And we made this very strong Iberian Peninsula, and we made it all whatever Christian faith they are. So we made that because we weakened the guys here. Because usually they'd be pushing in if somebody became stronger up there, but because we weakened them, they were able to push down, and these guys were just too weak to fight back. Then you get Bavaria, which I think is the main nation that was in the Holy Roman Empire once it collapsed, and then you've got a bit of China, and then Japan. But Japan's like a baseline. It's always going to be pretty much exactly the same size, because expanding outside is difficult. Total buildings is the same list, basically. Yeah, there's like a small moving there, but it's mostly the same list. Average development. Oh, well, like, come on. Like, this is... Can I do average development, but realm size isn't 1? Because obviously somebody who has a realm size of 1 is going to have the highest development if they just happen to have it. But you really have 100 development in your realm? What do you mean you have 100 development in your realm? Is that true? Why do you have so much... How did you get 100 development in your realm? I mean, you have a lot of modifiers. I guess you just got something that gave you a lot of development at one point. Yeah, I guess so. I guess you had a modifier. And then it just went crazy. Huh. Anyway, they have 100 development over here as well. So not only are they super large, they also have 100 development. Okay. Cool. And then treasury. Well, we don't really care. Strong. Okay, so... Who has the most soldiers? It's the Abbasids. Followed by these guys. Followed by Mesopotamia. Who the Abbasids, I believe, are at war with, right? They were at war with them. Okay. Then it's us. Then it's Chu. Gyo, and then Japan. Alright. That's not a surprising list. Men-at-Arms? We're number 1. We have the most men-at-arms, followed by the Abbasids. Also, somebody asked if we could go to war with the Abbasids for, like to wipe them out as one last thing. I think 1, we did beat them at the end, so I'm kind of happy with it. But 2, Conqueror is just so, like, difficult to play against in an offensive way, because they will outlast you, right? They got more taxes, their men-at-arms cost nothing, like, they will have the money to keep going and hire mercenaries and just keep it as a huge slog war, while you will start to struggle. You'll start to have problems appear around the realm and you'll want to deal with them. So it's just not something that I think is going to be fun to do. But yeah. The Abbasids, where was my brain going with this? Yeah, they're number 2 on this list, probably because their men-at-arms cost pretty much nothing. Then you've got this guy, who is over in Japan. Then you've got these guys over here, these guys over here, these guys over here, and these guys over here. Do you notice who you don't see on this list? These people. You don't see these guys. They are just for some reason do not have any men-at-arms. Do they? Wait, they were showing on the soldiers list. Do they only have levies? Is that what's happening here? Is this purely levies, basically? It's 15,000 levies, yeah. Oh, and that's because you get levies from tributaries. That makes perfect sense, actually. Yeah. So that, yeah, anyway. I can say how nuts this is every time, but it's still nuts. Right, knights. We're number 1. Then Aquitaine. That makes perfect sense, because their culture is... it is formed from French, yeah. So I think their culture has a lot of knight stuff in it, yeah. There's a whole bunch of knight stuff in it. I thought is there something that gives you an extra... Yeah, that gives you some extra knights and things in here. And there's all sorts of knight bonuses in Aquitaine. And then it's a whole bunch of random places, because you get down into this... Like, there's a lot of people at, like, 14, 13. Knight effectiveness? We're number 1! Hey! That means our knights are 323% efficient. So if we go and have a look at one of these, we can see the number. So prowess. So instead of this being like 10, it's actually 32.3, right? And then 5 times that for the damage. Which, if you compare it to levies, you can see levies are 10-10. So ours, so one of these guys is equal to so many levies by himself, which is pretty cool. Anyway, that's that. Then we're going to sort it by dread. 120. Oh, right, yes, because nomads can go into 120, and then with a whole bunch it's 100. Okay. Prisoners, opposite is people who've just been at war. And then herd we don't really care about. Cool. Houses. This one's kind of interesting. Let's see what we got. Number of living members. It's Japan. Followed by the Abbasids. Followed by you. Who are you? You're within the Abbasids. Okay. You're also within the... Yeah, these guys are all within the Abbasids. Where are we on the list? Where's Dura? Wait, no, this is houses. So Dura's not going to be very big because we only have 48 living members. But that's because ones like these will not split into new houses. They won't do cadet branches as often as R1 will. Anyway. Cool. Number of dead members. This is basically just how long has your house been going and did they have history files for your dead members. So there's 2,444 here. Anyway, there you go. Rulers. Number of rulers. Again, it's like how many did they have down and also how often do you have succession. Unity doesn't apply to everybody. House attribute doesn't apply to everybody. All counties. So this is counties controlled by the house? Okay. So that must be directly. Oh, there's a Dura one. It's not us though. It's there at 12, and then there's a whole bunch, yeah. Whole bunch once you hit 9. Okay. Interesting. Total soldiers of all rulers of this house. Yeah, we're not as high up as you'd expect. That's interesting. Maybe it's your direct soldiers, not including vassals? Huh. Anyway, there you go. Dynasty legacies. Again, we're not going to be that high up because we don't have that many. And then level of splendor. Hey, it's the one that we saw somebody having over here. Apparently the reason why you randomly see dynasties all around the place, somebody was telling me it's because the AI will tend to pick people who have high legitimacy. I think it's if the title has low legitimacy, in order to like shore up titles, I guess. So that's how you can end up with random people all around the place. I think that's right, something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Holdings. Which holding has the most money? It's the Byzantines. It's Constantinople. Which one has the most loot? It's not the Byzantines, but they're second. Levies. Yeah, I mean, this is basically just the same as, like, which thing has the most buildings? It's the same sort of thing. It's going to be the same ones every time, because if we go and have a look at this holding over here, you'll see that the holding has special buildings and therefore will always be at the highest. Like, you'll always be on the high point on all of these sort of things. Anyway. Counties? Is there anything we actually need to look at here? This is just total holdings. Nope. Titles? Nope. Faith and religion. Now this is interesting. So, counties of this faith. We are the second biggest faith in the world. We have Catholicism as number 1 faith, Bori is second, and then Mahayana as third, which is everything over here-ish, sort of. Yeah, and all over there, and over there, and over there, and it's all horrible. And then we have Asharism, which is the Abbasids, basically. Yeah. Same way that Bori is us, that's just the Abbasids, and then Tengri is all of this. So, cool. Yeah, we are number 2 there. Let's sort by change in counties due to conversions? What does this even mean? Oh, how many are actively being converted? Oh, that's an interesting one. Huh, so ours will be 0 right now, because we have 0 things being converted. Because we converted everything. But that would have been interesting to look at while we were still converting things. Huh. Intriguing. Okay. Yeah, because we could have used that to work out what holdings were being converted, because it tells you how many holdings of another faith are being converted. Yeah. So that could have told us if our AI was doing anything. Okay. All adherents to this faith. It's Mahayana, Catholicism, and then Bori. So we're third on that. So there's just a lot of members of that faith around, but not a lot who hold land. That probably means it's also in places where multiple faiths are allowed, which makes sense. Like, there's probably a lot of them in China, a lot of them over here, where multiple faiths are all kind of intertwined and the individual faith of the land doesn't matter too much. Anyway. Rulers. Catholicism, Mahayana, and then Bori. Interesting. Actually, yeah. These must be close then, right? Yeah, these are very close. Okay. That kind of makes sense. So they just happen to have more rulers. So you'd expect that if you were to go forward a bunch of time, that the number of counties held by members of this faith would go up. Probably. Sinful rulers. Yeah, it should be the same. It should be roughly this. Like, it should be roughly the same percentage for everybody. Virtuous. Again, it should be roughly the same percentage for everybody. So this is active holy wars. Okay. Controlled holy sites. There's only 2 that have all the controlled holy sites. It's Shinto and Bori. Wait, you can favorite these? Oh, to show them at the bottom. That's interesting. So I could have our faith showing there. Huh, and then when I click between them, we'll then be able to see where our faith is. Although it removes them from the list, which is a little annoying. I'd kind of like them in the list and at the bottom. But anyway, whatever. Fervor. Yeah, there's a lot at 100. And then total soldiers by rulers of this faith. So, yeah. They have a lot of soldiers. Catholics have less, and then we have less than them, and then, yeah, so on and so forth. Right. And then religions are like the groups. So our house of religion is Old Bori and Bori. So effectively, this is just going to make us look worse because there are nobody is Old Bori. As in nobody. Actually, I don't think there are any people who follow Old Bori, but also there's no land which is Old Bori. Is this saying one of bits of our land's being converted? Yeah, so that's this bit right over there then. Okay. We'd assume. Actually, it could be these bits in here as well. Oh, okay. Let me just check. Old Bori? Is there a way of seeing... Oh no, there's at least one follower. You're Old Bori. Okay. So, wait, if I go Old Bori here, can I set Old Bori as like a favorite? But that only sets it as favorite in there. Yeah, how would I even find them? They gotta be down here somewhere. Old Bori. Well, actually, can I say my religion? Yes? There we go. There are, there are 14 Old Bori followers. Interesting. They have 1,000 soldiers to their name. Wait, that means there's an Old Bori ruler out there. Wait a second. There's an Old Bori ruler out there? Search all for people who are... Hausa. Yeah. Then how am I going to find them? That's the next question. There's 4,000 people on this list. How do I find them? Is there anything else I can do to limit it? Yeah, that's a difficult one. Wait, can I just do Old Bori? Yes, actually that would be so much easier. Oh, there you go. This is the guy who has all the troops. It's a mercenary company, which actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and then there's this is everybody who follows the religion, which is mostly people in the mercenary company. There's still like this new Bori stuff. It's never gonna catch on. Right. Cool. Cultures. So in this case, we have actually done a lot of work with our culture. So we are the 3rd largest culture, behind Chinese and Arabic. Okay, cool. So this is again is the amount that are being converted. So we're 3rd in that as well. People are converting Rhinelander and Sino Khitan. All characters of this culture. We're way down the list. But that's to be expected. Yeah. Yeah, places like, or these two are obviously going to be higher because there's a lot of, there's a lot of layers to the society for them that there aren't in ours. Like, via administrative, there's a lot of layers. So, there's got to be a lot of unlanded people around. Same with Greek, actually, as well. So, and this one as well. I'm assuming Arabic is just because there's a lot of Arabic land, and I actually don't know. I guess it's because it's just kind of a uniform culture, and it's all, and like everybody in this area is Arabic, basically. That's the reason I'm assuming it's the highest, but, or like it's up there, but anyway. Rulers. Pretty much the same as this list, except that you take out, you take out Arabic, basically. Okay. Cool. I said that's heritage. You take out Mashriki. Sorry, I was reading the wrong line, but you get the idea. Average development across the culture. Well, this is obviously poisoned by these guys in terms of results because they have a lot of people who have 100 development. Cultural acceptance. This is just of me though, right? Yeah, of my culture. So like, who cares? And then total by soldiers. There you go. And this is a very similar list to ones we've seen before. But we are a lot higher on this list. Then known killers. Which is just a very weird thing. Because it's just of people who are alive who's killed a bunch of people. It'd be much more interesting if it included dead people as well. That would make it much more intriguing. Anyway. That's the ledger. Let's now have a look at the map modes. So, none of these probably have changed, but we might as well click on them anyway. If anyone sees anything exciting. Well, this one actually has changed. Our empire is big. Yeah, a lot of this has become de jure part of Canon Bornu, which is kind of cool. Not too much else changed here. Oh no, the Byzantines actually got a bunch of land which is normally Holy Roman Empire. In fact, I think this isn't usually Holy Roman Empire. This is usually Byzantines, right? So there's some switching around there. Remember when the Baltic Empire was huge in this campaign? Not anymore. Right. Faiths. Yeah, it looks fine if you do this. Like, if you do this, it's absolutely okay. If you do that, you go, what am I looking at? Yeah. It's kind of crazy. This was all a different religion. Was it all Ukanusko? No, there was a reformed one, wasn't there? There was a reformed one up there, I think. But anyway. Maybe it was Ukanusko. Anyway. That's that. Cultures. Our culture actually spread quite a lot, which is nice. Yeah. Beyond that, nothing too crazy that I can immediately see. Houses. There's our house. We can split it up a little bit. But let's go houses first. What's houses? Y. Okay. There's all the different houses. And then if we split this up, you can kind of see where all the different ones. There's a lot of there's a few Duras around here. But yeah. Those are all the houses. That's a little bit weird. Oh no, those are... Oh, that is an underscore, yeah. Interesting. Anyway. Let's head here. Development. As I said before, we have a lot higher development than you would expect. Like, we're at 41. That's kind of on par with a lot of the higher areas of Western Europe. Obviously not anywhere near the development of this, but we've done that. We've already done that conversation. Control's not worth looking at. Economy. Our capital is really, really good at economy. Rest of our land, not so much. Like, the 2 bits of land we hold really good, the gold mine really good. Yeah. But again, these guys over here, much, much higher due to reasons. Diplomatic relations is kind of a only important while you're playing thing. Governments. Mostly feudal. Very small... Wait, is this a republic that holds like a higher title? It is. It's a grand city. Oh, cool. And then we also have a clan one down here. Yes, small bit of clan down there. Because it was more recently conquered land. It will probably switch to feudal over time. Yeah. Cool. And then Mandala. Slowly overtaking the nomadic land there. Okay. Cool. Next, let's have a look at languages. So we speak Arabic in our lands. A lot of Austronesian. Wait, Austronesian must be... Yeah, that's your language. So it must just have very high court grandeur for switching to it. In fact, most of the world speaks Austronesian. We just are an outlier by speaking Arabic. And then, yeah, you got a few bits over here that are just too far away for Austronesian to have reached yet. Yep. There you go. Next. Landless rulers. I'm not going to click on that map. Locks and confederations. No. Plagues. No. Legends. We didn't really interact with legends. There's a big legend over here. You know why? They have a huge amount of money. Legends as well is basically like hey, where are the areas of the map that had a ton of money? Here, right? It's kind of the same thing. And then a bunch of terrain map modes, which don't matter. Right. Let's now have a look at some things in here. So, we have in our house 48 living members, of which we are the highest rank, followed by our sister, who holds a random county, a random person not really related to us, another random person not really related to us, and then a bunch of counties, basically. Okay. Cool. I think that's all we need to look at in there. Let's go back here. In terms of living members of our dynasty, though, we have a bunch of people who are in charge of a bunch of kingdoms. So in terms of our dynasty, we have Adal, Sal, Abyssinia, Sahara, Gur, all as kings, and then we have a whole bunch of dukes here. Just a huge number of them. Let's try to see if there's any that look like they're outside of our realm. I don't think there are. I think there are ones that were outside of our realm, but there aren't any that are currently outside of our realm. Yeah. If there's a county outside, I don't know if I'm gonna find it, but yeah. I don't think there are any, but there you go. Kosuga? Is that within our realm? Yep. Okay. There you go. So that's the members of our dynasty. Lots of kings, but we didn't actually assign that many people of our dynasty to these titles. They just kind of got them. I mean, obviously Sahara got theirs via our land splitting in two, as did Gur at one point, which must mean that this is they must have come from the line that originally held this kingdom and all the way down. But yeah, cool. And then in here we have 36 houses. So if we do it by, I was gonna say by living members, but maybe just by maybe founding dates fine. So our house, the second house that's created, this person is the house head is currently hanging out over here in Egypt somewhere. Builds a sheikdom there. Okay. Next house. No living members, no living members, no living members. You have 18 living members. Your house head currently holds this land over here. Next one. So it was 18 living members. Then we got Dura Ayo over here. Holds this bit of land. Okay. 12 living members. Then a couple of nuns. This one, they are in charge of a mercenary company, who I think we've called into wars. We have the guy who's the king of Sal, as well. We have you. You hold some land and you're somebody's, you're somebody's spy master. That's the head of Gur. We have you. You are in charge of the Invincible Horsemen. We have the Sahara branch, so this was one that split off from us at one point. We have the Rafa over here, who holds a duchy. Then we have you, who holds another duchy here. Yet another kingdom, Kingdom of Adal. You have a random county, and then we get all sorts of new ones as we move up here. So, that's all of them. And then, the much more interesting bit is the dynasty tree, which didn't crash. It's always nice when it doesn't crash. Right. What do you mean dynasty? Oh, you're the dynasty head of a separate dynasty here. Oh, interesting. Right, actually, who's first on our... If I go back to this and go back to title history, we're looking at Dorama. Dorama is the first one that we need to find. Okay. So, dynasty tree. There's us. We're going back, going back, going back, going back. Going back. We go back again. And again. And again. And again. And again. Oh, did the game crash? Or is it thinking? I think it's thinking. Okay. And again. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's gonna take a while. Our house must loop. That's Dorama. But is it the correct Dorama? That's the question. Dorama, parents, random people. Yes, this is the correct Dorama. Okay. So this is our dynasty. Holy moly. I'm trying to get to the one edge of it. So this is how far our dynasty is spread. Which is crazy. It's also tiny as well. There we go. So this is us here, right? Wait, yeah, and it takes so long for it to load everything right now. So it went from us back. We can kind of follow the line directly, then all the way up here. So actually it was first child most of the way along. Yeah, it was mostly first child. Well, actually this one wasn't first child. Where did the first child go in this one? They died. Well, that would probably do it. Yeah. Oh no, they should have, yeah. Don't know why they weren't in line to the land at the time. Yeah, maybe they'd already died and it was easier to give it to the other person. Who knows? Yeah, they just happened to inherit. Maybe their whole line had died by then. Anyway. Up to you. And then Dorama. Oh, it wasn't first there either. Oh, but first here is the sun, right? Yes, this is the sun from all the way back then. Okay. The son whose child was Ichata. Wait, so that was the sun there. And if we go all the way along here. Was it the sun's child who... That's interesting. Wait, so that's connected to you. There. Oh, and that's a dead end. Oh. I think I missed this. There's a small gap. Yeah, there we go. So that's mostly the sun sign. So yeah, they had died, and then that's why this person inherited. Okay. And then, yeah, from that point on, it was first all the way until very recently. Until this one, at which point we got rid of the, like, the equal inheritance, at which point she inherited, they inherited, and then she inherited. Yep. Okay, cool. And then if I zoom out again, we'll go all the way along to the other side. Get into like just completely different houses over here. Like that, there's a new house, and then there's a house of a house down there. Oh, there we are again. Yeah, this is why it takes so long to load sometimes. Is because it loops. Yeah, so there was only a small amount of looping happening, but it was definitely looping. We did try and avoid as, like, multiple paths for incest, so that did stop it looping quite as badly as it could have. Anyway, there you go. Right, pan to me. There you go. So there's back with us. Cool. Right. If I leave here, the game will run a lot better again. Ooh, look at that. It's so smooth again. I did find a new recording technique that I'm using for a different series, by the way, that makes the recording use even less resources. So there might be a way of making this game run even more smoothly, which would be great. Anyway, I might try that out for the next series. I don't know. Right now, I'm just happy with stability. We actually had a reasonably stable campaign as well. The previous campaign, you know what? We did do one campaign in between. We did a campaign over here in France with knights and things. Yes, we did one in between the other All Under Heaven ones I was thinking about. I don't remember this happening then, but maybe it did. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, but yeah, that campaign crashed so much. I think we only had like 1 or 2 crashes in this one, which was not as bad as it could have been. Like, it definitely stabilized. I think the reasoning for that, by the way, I think I found the fix. So the reason why it was crashing was because there's a problem with a certain level of Intel CPUs, alright, like whatever the actual thing is. Like a certain batch of Intel CPUs have a problem, and that causes that was causing the voltage to run too high, I think. So there's a BIOS patch that you apply to fix that then changed the voltage curve. But what that was doing is that was causing the minimum voltage to then be too low, which then also causes problems. So the fix that I've currently got in, and there's apparently a better fix that you can do, which I need to investigate at some point where I'm willing to spend a lot of time troubleshooting. There's a better fix that you can do, but my fix is basically a minimum voltage across the card, which means that there's a minimum amount of activity effectively constantly on the CPU, which is not ideal, but it does mean that it doesn't crash, which is nice. I think there's another one that's something to do with C states or something. I don't entirely know. My knowledge of computer hardware is surface level, but yeah, basically that's the fix. Is once you've applied the BIOS patch to fix the fact that your CPU is a bad batch, then you have to apply a manual fix to then fix the fix, which is not ideal. Anyway, that aside, now it's time to do the other part of this, where we basically let the game run for 100 years and, well, see what happens. Do we have predictions? Yes. Yes, we have predictions. I predict that the AI will lose land to the Abbasids. I think that's a fairly easy prediction. I think they're going to lose a kingdom of Egypt to the Abbasids. Unless this guy dies. If this guy dies, maybe they don't. Also, wait a second. Are you... Oh, he's allied to his new kingdom here. For a second there, I thought he was allied to the Byzantines, and I'm like, what is this nonsense? Anyway, yeah. Oh, also, can I point out something very funny? I noticed this one. This guy, a member of their faith, what's that he's got on his hat there? It looks a lot like a cross there. It's just because he's got the Greek culture, and Greek culture is usually the Byzantine culture, so this is the Byzantine cloves, but yeah, just thought that was kind of odd. He's just like, alright, yeah. Your brother's just like, yes, I'm a member of your faith, hanging around with the cross on his head. Anyway, I think the Abbasids are going to take that land. I think that's an easy call. What else do we think is going to happen? I think that the religion is not going to be across all of our land. I think that's going to have changed. Do we think Galicia heads south? Maybe. I think there's a chance that there's a crusade called, but wait a second. I was thinking actually there hadn't been a crusade in a while. Yeah, they don't hold the Vatican. That's interesting. Wait, what's up with the Pope? Where's the Pope currently? He's just kind of a generic floating title. Okay. Well, I suspect actually that will be where Crusades go, so we might be safe from Crusades. Do we think anything over here is going to affect us? Probably not. This is kind of where we stalled on our campaign, so I suspect this is where they'll stall in their campaign, because a lot of this land just doesn't want to be a tributary, at which point you have to actually wage a war, which is a lot more difficult. So yeah, I think our main problem is the Abbasids. I think the Abbasids maybe eat all of the Byzantine Empire. I think that's also potential, or the Abbasids collapse. Like, I think those are the major ones. I think there's a chance Galicia finishes the Iberian struggle. They're currently an opportunity, which I believe means they can end it. So I think there's a chance that they get this land, end it, and then declare a holy war up here. But yeah, we'll see. I also think there's a high chance that this dynasty no longer holds this land. I think somebody else could take it. Or maybe not dynasty, but this particular line of the dynasty no longer holds it. Like, this person might not be the person who holds it. In fact, if she doesn't have a... Oh, no, she does have a daughter. Okay, that's fine. I was going to say, if she doesn't have a daughter soon, they're going to have big issues. But anyway. Yeah, I think these are likely things to happen. So, let's go to observe mode, where we switch character. Observe. Yeah. And then I'm going to play it on speed 5. And I'm going to speed this up for you, but I'm going to go away for like, I don't know, half an hour and then come back and see what's happened. So I'll see you April 1st, April 1st, 1270. That's when we're going to see you. So, let's speed it up. Okay, we have gone 100 years into the future. Very first thing we have to do is save the game, obviously, because a lot of time has passed. And then, well, things have got weird. I came in about halfway through and I was like, oh, we're doing really well. We've taken over this land and we'd really expanded quite a lot. And then, at some point, the Mongols grew massively, massively, massively. I guess they must have taken us over at some point, because then this became a Khaganate when the Mongols fell apart, and yeah, it all became weird. But anyway, I think we need to have a little look at things. One thing I will say, though, is my theory is 100% correct about what should happen over here. If you just make it so these guys can't be tributaries, which the Mongols effectively did, they got pushed into becoming China, they became China, China fell apart, and all of a sudden, all the problems over here were fixed. Like, literally, all they have to do is stop, like, nomads from being tributaries, and it would fix a whole bunch of problems. Anyway, I guess I'll switch to these guys. Well, in a way, I was right that we weren't going to be in charge. I just didn't expect that we would be replaced by the Mongols, but there you have it. So, let's just figure out even where we are here. So let's go to... who are you trying to... You're trying to sway... member of this house who is not a member of our dynasty. Okay, let's go to empires. Kanem Bornu, which actually even expanded its borders, as in terms of de jure borders. Let's have a look at title history. So, you're the last person who held it. You inherited it, and then you destroyed it. Presumably because you didn't have enough land. So you became Yemen, and then this is the current person in charge. So over here... over here, underneath there, Yemen, who is still underneath the Ilkhanate, over here, they are our successor, right? They are our successor over here, and we can trace them back. Let's follow, not the Kingdom of Yemen. Also, they expanded in there, so they must have holy warred and then kept the kingdom. Also, let me just check development here. The development is lower in this than it was when we held it. Is that because the culture's changed? Yeah, no, the culture's the same. Interesting. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, let's go back to the Empire. I just want to go to back where we were. So we were... who? Oh, that's Daruma. Oh, wait, we must have been further along then. That's the Stout. I should have kept an idea on who we were. Obviously, I know when it was, right? It was 1170. So you were the unifier. So we must have been you. No, we must have been you at this point. Yeah. Okay, so it only took like a couple of generations for things to fall apart. Now, admittedly, it was because of the Mongols. So what happened? So, one generation down, you got a Khan. So what is a Khan usually? This land. Okay. Interesting. So you must have revoked and given it to them somehow. I'm assuming that's what happened here. Yeah, revoked. There you go. Revoked and gave it to them. That's fine. So that's what happened with that line. You inherited Kanem, Mogadishu, Kanem, and Jimmy. So you did not inherit this land right here. So by that point, they had ditched the Empire's capital. You inherited Kirwan. So who inherited this? Well, you conquered it here in 1248. Who actually... You just granted it to this random person. Okay, I mean, it was your child, but still. Okay. That hurts. That hurts. Anyway. Oh yeah, I also noticed that there's some interesting naming things of the Gujar, which was over here as well at one point. Yeah, I don't really know what that is, but... Yeah, that's Dynasty Gujar. Oh, okay. Interesting. Anyway. So that was this person who we were just playing as. Then we go down a generation. So this person has Hausaland, Yemen, which has a female-only succession law on it, and the Kingdom of Ajuran, which no longer exists, then these titles. So what happened then? So you were dead, you were dead, you were dead, you had a line. How did you... Oh, because it's female only. So they were dead. So you were dead, so effectively it passed to this person. Amita. But you did inherit. Wait, you did inherit at one point, didn't you? Oh, no, that's Yemen. Wait, so you also held Yemen. But your line ended, so then it bounced back into this line. So actually, this person was completely unlanded, died, then you inherited Yemen. Which is crazy. Okay, and then that's how Yemen gets all the way down to this person. So it splits. So you had both Yemen and Arabia, at which point succession splits, and now you hold Yemen, and you're Imami. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, so they went for the local religion. Yeah, so the person who is our new, well, the person who's the direct heir of who we were playing as is not even like our religion anymore. Yeah, but they do hold Arabia and Yemen. Now, interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, what do we even look at here? I guess we could have a look at this, maybe? Let's have a look at some of these lists. Do we care about characters? Kinda, yeah. Let's go for landed only. Soldiers. So the main players in the world are now the Mongols and their successors. Okay, basically everybody is... That's the main one across the board. Debel Gujar have a ton of men-at-arms. Then we got China of varying degrees. Number of knights. Still that line. Oh, Kaiser of the Holy Roman Empire. Yeah, I did notice that the Holy Roman Empire formed in France and then moved back over here again. Oh, did you end it? No, they didn't manage to end the Iberian struggle. What do you mean? You had all of Iberia and you were in opportunity. How did you not end it? Anyway, that's fine. Knight effectiveness. None of the rest of this really matters. Houses. I think we found out houses didn't matter too much previously either, but let's just have a look. Living members. Yeah, ours still isn't up there in terms of anything, or in any of these. Yeah, this house is new, obviously, but yeah, our house isn't up there. Holdings doesn't matter. Counties doesn't matter, I think. Yeah, titles. We don't have a title we want to look at. Faith and religion. Okay, let's have a look at Bori here for a second. Wait, you converted to Bori? That is so funny. Yeah, that's actually incredibly funny. There's half the members of Old Bori there, but yeah, Bori's still going. I didn't realize that they would convert, but that makes perfect sense. So it's still number 3 in terms of counties of this faith. Except that Catholicism... Oh no, it was number 2 previously, right? These guys have pushed up as we thought they would because they had a lot of people who were the religion who were landed, but there weren't a lot of counties that were landed. A lot of this land is being converted, interestingly. Adherents, yep, it's now in the correct order. Rulers of this faith, yeah, pretty much everything is now going to be in the order that you'd expect. Cultures. That Kausa is still the 3rd highest number. Oh, that's by soldiers. Right, let's do this. By counties, it's the 4th highest. I think it was there before, wasn't it? Yeah. Characters of this culture. Okay. They're now 5th. Mongols gone up quite a bit. Reasons. Rulers. Yeah, it's okay. Average development's impossible. Cultural acceptance. Total soldiers of all rulers of this culture. Yeah, okay. 4th. Basically, there's a gap between 4th and 5th, and that's where most of that seems to lie. Okay, let's have a look at some other stuff. Let's have a look at Let's have a look at the map modes. Religion. So Bori has spread more into this land, which makes perfect sense, although it will then not spread again because they've now converted. So it'll it's spread in and then it'll spread out again. This is all horrible. This is kind of interesting. But yeah. I don't really know what to take from that. Okay, cool. Houses. So Borjigin. So the Mongol one is now all over. There's Dara. We see any more of our house? Oh, there's one right in there. Yeah, so they currently hold Hausa land still. There's some over here, direct to a member of our house. Okay, so there's all sorts around here. Interesting. Development. Actually, development's kind of regressed down here a little bit, but that might be because some of the land changed to be nomadic. No, none of the land is nomadic. Huh, interesting. I don't know why development's dropped much. Oh, you know what? Was there the Black Death? Did that happen? That might have explained why development might have dropped, but development over here is really high, so maybe not. Actually, Black Death I don't think affects down here too much. It mostly affects this line. Anyway. County control economy. This still is a really good holding, if anyone wants it. Which nobody does. Yeah, there you go. This economy. What else have we got here? Port languages. Austronesian still going strong. Yep, all across the world. A little bit in Norse in Denmark, but yeah, Mongol is obviously, or Mongolic is spread. Plagues, legends. Again, legends are pretty much just where is money and where was it peace. So there you go. And that's that. Okay, so we're on the wrong character really for looking at this, but let's go in here to Yemen. So, there are 43 living members, there are 441 living members of the dynasty, and 78 houses. There's a lot less house relations, but I'm assuming that's because a lot of people died off. And there you go. Newest cadet branch was founded this year, House Pid. Wait, was that not the name of our cat? Anyway, it was also the name of one of our rivals. They hold this land here. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So lots and lots and lots of new houses in here. Who is the strongest house? By house head military strength. It's currently the Queen of Egypt. Oh, okay. So our direct successor is down here. Founding house is like 12th or something. 10th? Might be something around there. Anyway. Yeah, so you are the strongest member of our dynasty remaining. However, you are now in a war for your claim on the Khaganate? Wow. Okay. Well, that would get them all of that land. Ooh, they would probably win that war as well. Interesting. What a very weird map. I actually prefer what's happened in that 100 years there. Like, obviously here is horrible. But like, I think the rest of the map has become quite interesting. I think this bit of the map was really holding the rest of the map down. I think the Mongols coming in kind of cleared things out a lot. It would be nice if there were more things that the Mongols had cleared things out, but I understand historically that's not really the case. There weren't really that many world-spanning empires that appeared out of nowhere. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I guess you know what we should do, right? If we're gonna do this correctly. There we go. Right. Now at least we're playing as at least they've also picked up another trait of their ancestors, having no money whatsoever and being in a war that they should wipe peace. Anyway, here I think I'm going to end the episode. Thank you very much for watching, and the next episode will be probably next weekend. We're talking like Friday, Saturday, something like that. Either that or it'll be sometime before next Monday, right? Or it could be next Monday. It won't be after that. I don't know what we're doing yet. I haven't put any thought into it whatsoever. I will use some of this week to think about it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.